They called her a bad spy, then she ran Paris alone. Please note, the visuals in this video are AI generated and may not be 100% historically precise. The content is intended as both entertainment and educational exploration, not as a definitive historical record. They said she was clumsy, too emotional, and not overburdened with brains. They called her a bad spy. And yet, for 4 critical months, this so-called bad spy became the only Allied wireless operator connecting London to the resistance in Paris. This is the story of Noor Inayat Khan, a woman her own trainers wrote off, who ended up running a one-woman intelligence operation with the Gestapo hunting her at every turn. Before she was a spy, Noor Inayat Khan was a dreamer. Born in Moscow in 1914, she was a true princess, the great-great-great-granddaughter of Tipu Sultan, the legendary Tiger of Mysore who died fighting the British. But her childhood wasn't one of battle plans. It was one of music, poetry, and peace. Raised in Paris by her Indian Sufi father and American mother, Noor was a gentle soul, a gifted musician who studied at the Paris Conservatory, and a talented children's author whose stories were broadcast on French radio. Her entire world was built on pacifism, a core part of her family's Sufi beliefs. But when Germany invaded France in 1940, that world shattered. Noor and her family escaped to England, but she felt that the brutal reality of fascism was impossible to ignore. Though she believed in non-violence, she and her brother felt a moral duty to do something that wouldn't require taking a life. Her brother joined the Navy. For Noor, it meant volunteering for the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, where she discovered a surprising talent for being a wireless operator. It was this skill, plus her perfect French, that got her noticed by one of the war's most secret and most dangerous organizations, the Special Operations Executive, or SOE. They asked her to go back to France. Not as a writer or a musician, but as an agent. With no protection, no uniform, and the promise of execution if caught, Noor said yes without hesitation. The SOE was desperate for agents, especially wireless operators who spoke flawless French. On paper, Noor was perfect, but her training reports told a completely different story. Her instructors found her clumsy and terrified of weapons. They called her personality unstable and temperamental, and worried she was just too gentle for the brutal work of a spy. In a mock Gestapo interrogation, she broke down completely, convincing her trainers she would crack under real pressure. The final verdict was brutal. She was not overburdened with brains. Slightly sarcastic way of saying someone is not especially clever, intellectual, or practical. But what actually they meant, she wasn't the stereotypical sharp, calculating spy because she was gentle, artistic, and idealistic, qualities they misread as weakness. The reports were so bad that some of her fellow trainees actually wrote a letter to the head of the French section, Maurice Buckmaster, begging him not to send her. They thought her kind heart and what they saw as sloppy security habits would get people killed. But Buckmaster had a massive shortage of radio operators. He famously scrawled nonsense across her file, adding, "We don't want them overburdened with brains." Her skills on the wireless were just too good, and the need in Paris was too great. Despite all the warnings, the decision was made. Armed with a fake passport, a pistol she was afraid of, and a cyanide pill, Noor prepared for her mission. On the night of June 16, 1943, she climbed into a tiny Lysander aircraft and became the first female wireless operator sent from Britain into occupied France. Noor, now using the codename Madeleine, landed in a Paris crawling with the Gestapo. She was assigned to the Prosper network, one of the biggest and most important SOE circuits in France. But less than 2 weeks after she arrived, disaster struck. The entire Prosper network collapsed. Gestapo spies were everywhere, and a wave of arrests swept through the resistance, capturing nearly every senior agent. The life expectancy for a wireless operator was just 6 weeks. Noor's network had vanished in under 2. London sent an urgent message: "Get out now." They offered to fly her home. Noor refused. She knew that with all the other operators captured and their radios seized, she was the only one left. For the next 4 months, she single-handedly did the work of 6 operators, becoming the sole radio link between London and the scattered resistance cells in the Paris area. From hidden attics and apartments, always on the move, Noor sent a flood of vital intelligence back to London. Her transmissions were critical for organizing drops of weapons and money, and for arranging the escape of Allied airmen, providing information that was invaluable for the planning of D-Day. London begged her to stop transmitting and only receive messages, but she insisted on continuing her dangerous work. She wasn't just an agent anymore. She was the fragile, solitary nerve center of Allied intelligence in the most dangerous city in the world. For 4 months, Noor played a lethal game of cat and mouse all over Paris. The Gestapo knew a British operator called Madeleine was out there. They could hear her signals, but they just couldn't pinpoint her. She was like a ghost, constantly changing her location, her appearance, and her name, all while lugging a heavy wireless set disguised in a suitcase. The pressure was unbelievable, and sometimes her lack of training showed. She once carelessly left a briefcase with her secret codes at an acquaintance's apartment. Another time, she left her notebook filled with transcribed messages, wide open for anyone to see. She even broke a cardinal rule of espionage: never contact anyone from your past, by reaching out to an old music teacher for a place to hide. Her life was a string of close calls. One day on the metro, carrying her 20-pound radio, she was stopped by German soldiers. With astonishing calm, she somehow talked her way out of it and just walked away. She biked for miles to find quiet places to transmit and arranged for other agents to be evacuated, but when offered a spot on the plane herself, she again refused to leave. Every tap of her Morse key was a gamble, every moment a breath held against the tightening grip of the Gestapo. In the end, it wasn't a rookie mistake or the Gestapo's skill that caught her. It was betrayal. On October 13, 1943, Noor Inayat Khan was arrested. She'd been sold out by a Frenchwoman, the sister of one of her resistance contacts. The motive seems to have been a toxic mix of jealousy and greed. When the Gestapo stormed the apartment, they didn't just find Noor, they found her notebooks. In a tragic misunderstanding of an order to file her messages, Noor had kept a complete record of every signal she had ever sent. For the Nazis, it was an intelligence jackpot. They now had her codes, her unique transmission style, and her security checks. The result was a catastrophe. The Gestapo began impersonating her, tricking London into thinking Madeleine was still free. For months, SOE headquarters sent messages right into an enemy trap. Based on these fake transmissions, they sent at least 3 more agents straight to their capture. The very tool Noor had used to save so many lives was now being used to condemn them. Noor's story is one of incredible courage that was almost lost to history. If you believe these hidden stories of heroism deserve to be told, subscribe and join us in uncovering the legacies of those who risked it all. Noor was taken to the Gestapo headquarters at 84 Avenue Foch. She immediately made 2 daring escape attempts, once scrambling out of a bathroom window and onto the roof before being caught again. Her captors, realizing this wasn't the gentle woman from the training reports, labeled her a particularly dangerous and uncooperative prisoner. They offered her a deal: sign a paper promising to stop trying to escape, and her treatment would improve. She refused. During interrogations, she gave them nothing. The former head of the SD in Paris later confirmed that she never gave them a single piece of useful information, lying consistently to protect her allies. For 10 brutal months, she was held in Germany's Pforzheim prison, kept in solitary confinement and often in shackles. Despite starvation and torture, she never broke. On September 12, 1944, just 3 months after the D-Day landing she had helped make possible, Noor was abruptly transferred to the Dachau concentration camp with 3 other female agents. At dawn the next morning, she was executed with a single shot to the head. According to an eyewitness, her last word wasn't a cry of pain, but a final defiant whisper: "Liberté." The woman they had called unstable and clumsy showed more courage than her superiors ever thought possible. For her service, Noor Inayat Khan was posthumously awarded the George Cross, Britain's highest civilian honor for gallantry, and the French Croix de Guerre. Her George Cross citation states she displayed the most conspicuous courage, both moral and physical. Today, a bronze bust of her stands in London's Gordon Square, a permanent reminder of the quiet author who became a singular lifeline for the French resistance. She was the spy who was never supposed to succeed, the pacifist who became a warrior, and the hero who, when all other lights went out in Paris, was the only one left burning.